Greetings, all. Welcome to week 7. I'd like to reflect on your most remarkable conversation from week 6. I felt like I was sitting in the back of the room listening to a conversation of old souls. You are particularly remarkable as a group in the extent to which you provide meaningful mutual support to one another. And you're getting so good at identifying personal reference. Boy, I've got Dennis the Menace going on here. Personal reference connecting you to other people's stories and using those references to build empathic bridges. And you're practicing it with each other, which is quite delightful for me to observe. You are practicing and describing practicing mindfulness in several ways. I understand that this was a difficult discussion and difficult prompts at this point, because even though we're entering week 7, not everybody is fully situated in your placement, and so not everyone has client interactions to speak from. However, several of you were creative in fulfilling the assignment by analyzing interactions that you observed, and analyzing other interactions, not necessarily interactions that you've had with clients. So well done for creative souls. One thing that was clear in your conversation, as Maribel pointed out, mindful attention to negative examples can be an important teacher. As Maribel was saying, sometimes I am not very pleased at how some of the volunteers treat the clients. And that's very true. It's also true that you will observe some social workers not treating clients well. A little bit of power can be a terrible thing for a narrow-minded soul, and it's painful to watch. But on the other hand, these are observations to keep on your hard drive and models to make sure that you don't follow in your own work. So a negative example can be very useful. Several of you really picked up the mantle of examining your own behavior and your experience of yourself, which is critically important. Self-awareness in a practitioner is one of the most important attributes. As you say, Tanya, sometimes I have said things that I should not have, and it offers the opportunity to be a good model and help clients see workers as human. If you would have said, sorry, I just broke the rule about side talking. I haven't been to a meeting in a long time and I'm nervous, I think that would have been showing your humanity and vulnerability, which really can foster bonds. And I couldn't agree more. In working with families, I regularly found that making a mistake, even a mistake as simple as dropping my papers, for example, offers an opportunity to poke fun at myself, which has the effect of cutting the tension and leveling the playing field. And so sometimes mistakes can do you the favor of momentarily popping you out of the professional role and give you an opportunity to show your own self-awareness and your ability to see the humor in your own behavior, and that's itself a very important model, and that's something that I've used consciously over the years. As Amber points out, it's difficult to not express the slightest amount of judgment, as in the example of showing a look of wonder when hearing the male voice come out of the female client who was receiving services, and it's fine. Our clients are just like us. They've been living in the world, and they understand human foibles. They understand ignorance. The question is not whether you make mistakes. The question is what you will do with them. And if we were together on campus, I would do what I often do, which is form a circle with everyone and give everyone the instruction of getting to the opposite side of the circle as quickly as possible. And then on the count of 3, everyone does that. And it's very interesting what people do. Some people just freeze because they don't want to offend anyone. Some people are avoidant. They creep around the outside of the circle. Some people don't seem to care. They just blast through other people. And some people will actually progress from one part of the circle to the other, but and bump into people, because we inevitably will bump into each other. We inevitably will make mistakes. We will inevitably offend each other. But the question is, what do we do when that happens? Are we graceful and respectful? Do we acknowledge our mistakes? And do we honor the other person in that interaction? Or do we try to pretend it didn't happen? Or are we hardened and just keep on moving without acknowledging the other person? Or do we just freeze? So each of us, multiple times a day, has an opportunity to be self-aware and make a decision about how to handle particular interactions. And so, yeah, it's going to happen. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to bump into each other. That's not the issue. The issue is, what do we do about it when it happens? You also discussed the issue about boundaries, and particularly with regard to touching clients. This client you described, who had lost a friend to an overdose. You will find in the NASW Code of Ethics that you're not supposed to touch clients. You will find in the Code of Ethics that you're not supposed to receive gifts. Here's what I would recommend. Understand that boundaries are very important, but don't worry about taking the directives too literally. Ethical dilemmas are called that for a reason. you have to make a decision in the moment about what is appropriate to do. And there are times when it would be the height of folly not to accept a gift from a client. There are times when it is entirely appropriate to hug a client. This is why mindfulness is so important, so that you can, rather than walking around in a dream state, you can be aware of what you're doing and make a thoughtful decision about how to proceed. So I would counsel you to practice mindfulness in a very serious way in your own life, and that will equip you to make good decisions in these various moments with your clients. So I very much enjoyed your conversation and look forward to this week.